Greetings, dear listeners. My name is Serikbayev Syrym, and today our broadcast dedicated to Frederick Taylor. Frederick Winslow Taylor was an American mechanical engineer. He was widely known for his methods to improve industrial efficiency. He was one of the first management consultants. In 1911, Taylor summed up his efficiency techniques in his book, The Principles of Scientific Management, which in 2001 Fellows of the Academy of Management voted the most influential management book of the 20th century. His pioneering work in applying engineering principles to the work done on the factory floor was instrumental in the creation and development of the branch of engineering that is now known as industrial engineering. Taylor made his name and was most proud of his work in scientific management. However, he made his fortune patenting steel process improvements. As a result, scientific management is sometimes referred to as Taylorism. The overriding principles of scientific management are that each part of an individual's work is analyzed scientifically and the most efficient method for undertaking the job is devised. The one best way of working. This consists of examining the implements needed to carry out the work and measuring the maximum amount a first-class worker could do in a day. Workers are then expected to do this much work every day. The most suitable person to undertake the job is chosen, again scientifically. The individual is taught to do the job in the exact way devised. Everyone, according to Taylor, had the ability to be first class at some job. It was management's role to find out which job suited each employee and train them until they were first class. Managers must cooperate with workers to ensure the job is done in scientific way. There is a clear division of work and responsibility between management and workers. Managers concern themselves with the planning and supervision of the work, and workers carry it out. Taylor summed up the differences between his principles of management and the traditional method thus. Under the management of the initiative and incentive, practically the whole problem is up to the workman, while under the scientific management, fully one half of the problem is up to the management. The principal object of management should be to secure the maximum prosperity of the employee, coupled with the maximum prosperity of each employee. He could justify his actions and methods because his long-term goal, he felt, would lead to diminution of poverty and the elevation of suffering. His main reason for developing scientific management was that he wished to do away with soldering of natural laziness. as he believed that all workers spend little of their time putting in full efforts. To do this, he aimed to analyze every job in the scientific way so that no one could be in any doubt about how much work could and should be done in a day. Taylor felt that every single act of every workman can be reduced to a science. Inherent in Taylor's style of management was the setting up of a planning departments of clerks who ensured that every laborer's work was planned out well in advance, and the workmen were moved from place to place by the clerks with elaborate diagrams or maps of the yard before them, very much as chessmen are moved on a chessboard. A telephone and messenger system having been installed for this purpose. In this way, a large amount of time lost through having too many men in one place and too few in another, and through waiting between jobs, was entirely eliminated. As a Taylor recognized, required the setting up of a more elaborate organization and system, which sowed the seeds for Max Weber's bureaucratic organization structure. Taylor's approach constituted one of the first formal divisions between those who do the work, workers, and those who supervise and plan it, managers. Managers and workers. For workers on the shop floor, scientific management brought a dramatic loss in skill level and autonomy. As well as being subject to increased supervision, workers were no longer able to use their own tools, which they might have spent many years modifying to suit their own personal style. In many cases, however, Taylor's ideas were extremely effective. In the case of Scholevers at the Bethlehem Steel Works, workers earned higher wages and the company saved between $75,000 and $80,000 per year through greater efficiency. Also, Taylor believed that disputes between managers and workers would be eliminated because what constitutes a fair day's work will be a question for scientific investigation instead of a subject to be bargained and haggled over. There were numerous occasions where his ideas came into conflict with labor organizations. His opinions of such unions was invariably derogatory, believing that their objective was to limit the output of their members. Because of this, Taylor focused on the individual, believing that where a group of workers were formed, peer pressure would be used to ensure each man did not work to his full capacity. In the Bethlehem Steel Works, he decreed that no more than 4 men could work together in a gang without a special permit. It is easy to see why Taylor's work was regarded as inhuman. For whatever his motives of bringing about the greater good for workers on the shop floor, the elevation of property, and the elimination of waste, his methods were extremely harsh and sometimes had the opposite effect. The way that Taylor wrote about unskilled workers was often condescending and unsympathetic. However, he also recognized that punishment should not be the first resort, and wrote, "If the workman fails to do his tasks, some competent teacher should be sent to show him exactly how his work can be best be done, to guide, help, and encourage him, and at the same time to study his possibilities as a workman, so that under the plan which individuals, each workman, instead of brutally discharging the man of lowering his wages to make good at once, is given the time and the help required to make him proficient at his present job, or he is shifted to another class of work for which he is either mentally or physically better suited." And now our broadcast is over. Please subscribe to this channel. That was your host Serikbayev Syrym. Goodbye.